Hello everyone, Gigs here. I have something new for you today. So no, you weren't reading it wrong. This isn't a 1.14 snapshot. I didn't make a mistake on the title. This is indeed 1.13. The reason I'm just going through a little bit of 1.13 stuff right now is just because an Anarchy server that I play on is about to switch to 1.13. A little bit late, but there we go. They have to make sure that everything's going to work okay, but I'd like to sort of share some of the 1.13 updates, which is known as the Aquatic update. So it gives us a lot of things that surround water and the ocean, some new water mechanics, and a few extra mobs, friendly and unfriendly, and changes the way some of our mob behaviour works. So first of all, yes, turtles, we get turtles. So this is kind of cool. You'll see in here, now I have artificially planted these, so they're not actually, if you're in the middle of a plains biome, you're not going to discover coral or kelp or seagrass inside of your puddles. I did actually put these here on purpose just to have a bit of a look. But yes, there's a coral block as well as some coral fans that I've placed on it. The seagrass you can get through bone mealing bone mealing dirt under the ocean, and you will get that, and then kelp, which you can break, and it becomes a food source as well as a fuel source for your furnaces as you go along. One thing you'll notice as I go up, you'll see my bubbles there. I'm currently sitting, I do have pretty good gear here because I did pay this snapshot for quite a while, so I'm nicely set up. But you will see that my bubbles, because I got respiration, are going down slow. If I just pop my head up for a second, my bubbles only go up a little bit. Now this is one of the big changes in 1.13 that will catch people out coming from 1.12, is that your bubbles don't instantly regenerate when you hit the water. When you break the water. You actually need to be up there a little while to allow it to fully go. On top of that, that also means tricks like using a bucket or a torch in order to regenerate your bubbles won't work, because it doesn't give you enough time without being in water in order to regenerate your bubbles. So if I go here, you'll see that nothing. It's not even moving. Oops, did we go up a bubble then? Yeah, no, there we go. So if I keep doing it really quickly, it will work. Now, whether or not that is more, sorry Mr. Turtle, more because I was against a wall other than anything else, we will soon see. Let's go down a bit. While it's doing that, we'll also have a new thing with these underwater items, in that previously when you drop something in water, it would sink to the bottom. But you'll see from these, it doesn't sink to the bottom, and eventually it rises to the top. That also happens with XP as well. Your XP, if you kill anything, the XP will rise to the top. So if I break those, while they sink a little bit, eventually they will go up to the top. So let's try this water bucket trick when we're not up against a wall. So it is going up. You can imagine if you are in a PvP or PVM situation where you're fighting monsters or other players, being able to do this with a bucket multiple times is not so fantastic. And obviously having a respiration makes a difference. If I didn't have respiration, you'll see my bubbles actually go down a lot quicker. And it's a little bit harder to get that regeneration because of how quickly they're going down. So respiration is definitely a key on your items, on your armor. It's one of the earlier things that you want to get, or you'll want potions of water breathing. There is another type of armor if you don't have respiration, and that is to kill the turtles, and with that you can get turtle shells as a drop, and those turtle shells you can make into a helmet, which will give you respiration as well. I don't think it's as high as respiration free from what I was checking, but definitely you can get some level of respiration from there. As you can see, our kelp is floated to the top. Now you do need to be careful when mining your coral and your coral blocks. You do need to use silk touch. If you don't use silk touch, they will turn into dead coral, and it will nothing. Even replanting it in water, you can't bring that back. Another aspect of coral is that it must be touching water. At least one side has to be touching water. If it's not, then again it will die, which makes it for wonderful for underwater building, but outside of that you can't, for example, build a house out of it unless you're going to have waterfalls running down your walls. Turtles you can breed. You breed using the seagrass. Now can I? No, I can't. Didn't think I could. I don't even know if my silk touch will work on those, or whether or not I need to get a... Yeah, I do. I need to get some shares. Do I have any iron on me? Of course not. Of course not. So just in these videos, I'm not going to make a whole heap of them. I'm just going to make a few where we just sort of go over some of the basics with the water stuff. Another key thing with the water as well is that mobs will now drown in it. Undead mobs will now drown in it. So whereas before they used to go floating along, they will now sink and drown. Now for most mobs that means they will actually die. However, for your zombies they will turn into drowns, which will be a key thing for collecting gold, because drowned, instead of dropping iron ingots, will drop gold ingots, which is handy dandy, especially for those people who want a gold farm but don't want to have a presence in the nether, which again is very much a survival anarchy style thing where you don't want to have too much of a presence on your base. This gives you the opportunity to have that. So there goes my seagrass. Grab the other one, and again I can regrow that with bone meal if I want to. So we will go Mr. Turtle and Mr. Turtle, and they should do the... There we go. So you won't instantly get a baby turtle. Doesn't work that way. However, and I think these guys, I actually hatched them over in this area. I think they will want to come over here and hatch, because turtles always want to go back to their home beach, and their home beach is considered wherever they hatched. So if you find a couple of these guys in the wild, they will actually, and you try to breed them, they may run away, and that running away is because they're going to their home beach. Are they both going there? Let me eat. Are you going to come up? Are you going to stay down? And you can see, like other animals are attracted to hay and things like that, these guys are attracted to the seagrass. So these guys should again come up, and they should go over to their own little area. Now the thing that you do need to be mindful of these guys is that when they lay eggs, their eggs are... zombies are attracted to their eggs, so they will chase after their eggs. So you want to be careful with mobs around them. I may find that I lose them. Actually, I may go sleep. At some point I will show phantoms, but I think I will wait till after the turtles have done their egg laying thing. So another thing that obviously you can see that these are the old style villages. That is pretty much how it is for 1.13. The new changes on villages didn't come out to 1.14. There we go. And again, I've been playing on this world for a little while, so I've got my enchantments set up. Got villagers trapped in bits and pieces. I've got mending books, so I went exploring and found a mending villager. I've even got end stone and stuff because I've already defeated the dragon on this world. I think the only thing I haven't done on this world is the wither boss. I think I didn't even do a wither farm, so I've only got like 2 wither heads. So, oops, are we missing out? So you see how it's doing that little action? You can see the digging there. There we go, eggs. So we've actually got 2 lots of eggs. Now you do need to be careful with the eggs. If I jump on these, they will break and we will lose our eggs. What I can do is I can line them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you can get anywhere from 1 to 6 eggs off them. So I could have left those there and they would have, as long as no mobs got them, they would have hatched. Or I could plant them here if I want and I want them to hatch. The other side of things, I can also sort of pop into here and plonk them down and they will hatch in here. They take a little while for them to hatch. If you're on a server that has a little bit of lag, then they will take even longer to hatch. Now I don't need to put these near water or anything like that. I can put them anywhere I want. You can actually even utilize these as a way of attracting zombies to a certain area, so that they'll come towards this area. So if you've got traps and you want them to fall into the trap, you can have some turtle eggs sitting there as bait for them. But again, they will take a while to hatch. See the farms that we've got. This was actually quite a good village with some farms, although obviously the pumpkins and melons I've planted myself, but there's quite a few farms in here. I was lucky enough to have a zombie spawner down here. So this again is part of the water mechanics that we have. So in here you'll see that I've got a water spout. I can't go down that. And that is because of I've got some soul sand down there and it's creating bubbles, so I can't actually go down that. And you can actually even hear the noise it makes with the bubbles. On this side I just have a single block of water down there. Now you'll see, again, this is my soul sand down the bottom. Now in order to get these bubbles to go all the way to the top, these actually have to be individual water source blocks, so you actually need to go through and do all of that, otherwise it will not work. I've got these signs here to stop the water from flowing out, and this is my setup for my zombie spawner. Also got a little bit of an AFK fishing area in there. So these guys will come floating down here, and you will see that I've got a water source block right there, and that is so that when the zombies come down here, after a little bit of being in the water, they will drown and turn into a drowned zombie. You should see him start to shake soon as he starts to drown, and he will turn into a drowned. Come along, Mr. Zombie. Come along. You can do it. Now the baby ones, if they float up, they manage to get stuck and float up a bit, they'll turn into drowns, but generally they don't. Oh, there you go, you can see he's shaking away. Shake, 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 shake. you can't filter the baby zombies out the way that you used to be able to. Unfortunately, the lava water trick doesn't work for the new grinder types. And I will show you how I've built this, and you can see this little guy here has turned into a drown. So he's just looking a little bit different coloured greens, more aqua greens. He's got this sort of glowy face, and you can see now that the other zombies that are sitting in there are starting to do a little shake and wobble as well, and they will eventually turn into drowns. So there you go. So a semi-quick process. Obviously, AFKing at these farms and insta-killing using a kill or a style approach won't work, because then you won't get the drown. You've got to give them that chance to convert first. So, will they give me any gold? Oops. You can see you can get a little bit of gold from there. We don't have the grindstone here, so all of this armor obviously we can't use to get some XP back. But that is our zombie spawner, converting them to drowned. And again, I'll show you more details on this at a later point. So we'll go zooming up our water elevator, and our water elevator is what we use in order to get our zombies up from their spawner area. You can't do the water source block and ladder or sign trick anymore. It doesn't work. They don't go bobbing up the way they used to, because they drown, they sink. So you definitely need to use the soul sand and water source blocks in order to create that water elevator and shoot your mobs up, which I will show a little bit later on. I've actually got a setup in one of my test snapshots, which is all made of glass, so it just makes it a little bit easier to view and see how it works out. So we'll switch to that later on. I think that our eggs are still over here waiting to be hatched. I think I will leave it here at this point in time. This is a little bit of a longer video. We've covered off some basics. I will not sleep for a little bit while I'm doing some of this, so we can see the phantoms and see what we get out of that. And if there is anything specific you would like me to take a look at, please nothing technical. I think you should know by now from my videos that I'm not a techie person and not the person to be teaching you how redstone stuff works. But if there's anything specific you would like me to have a look at, let me know, and I will definitely do that for you. Sorry, I thought I saw something. It was just my horse. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.